The fact of the matter is Eric Holder is not representing the American people. He is representing the Democratic Party. And it's very clear that when you look at these three scandals, to someone who's trying to run a national party, Benghazi talking points, targeting reporters, and an IRS targeting the president's political opponents, screams that these scandals and these episodes are clearly targeted to the president's rivals in order to help him win an election.
Okay, that the RNC chairman, Reince Priebus. Anybody, by the way, know anyone called Reince?
Reince.
Reince?
Reince.
Still Reince? No?
No, that doesn't make it any better.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
grew up with a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, I grew up with a bunch of them.
Let's bring in our panel here to figure out where DC goes next in this. Jeannie Zaino, political science professor from Iona. Dominic Carter, of course, political journalist, author, and senior political correspondent. Andrew Whitman. All right. You know, take the AP story out, because I don't think anybody really cares about this report. It's really, at the end of the day, since when are Republicans defending reports? Okay. Benghazi and also IRS. I'm not minimizing the stories, they're real, but nobody has shown me an iota of credible evidence that it goes to the White House. IRS screwed up? Sure. The guy who's running it was, by the way, a Republican appointee, bureaucrat, I'm sure. And then if it's a State Department thing on the Benghazi front, nobody's saying that the White House orchestrated. I just feel the public, we could have kids that are going to have their interest rates doubled for college loans. You're closer to this than anybody. I don't think they really care about this stuff that much. I think there's a risk, especially with the way ICE is playing this thing, they're going to overplay their hand. Am I wrong?
No, I do think people do care about the IRS scandal. I think that's the one that resonates with Americans.
Do they blame the White House for it?
They don't blame the White House yet because they haven't made a firm connection to the White House. And I think that's where Darrell Issa got ahead of himself this weekend, and I think it's a big mistake. This is what people warned Republicans about. Don't overplay your hand. Let the facts speak for themselves. The fact that he came out and what he said about the White House press secretary and what he said about, those kinds of things are overstatements for somebody who's supposed to be a fact finder investigating. So, he's going to play right into the White House hand here, and they're going to say, well, this is just a partisan witch hunt, and, look what they're doing.
They weren't even strong on that, Tom. They brought up the fact that, what was it, the arsonist charges, and that he was a guy who was taking shakedowns or payments or whatever, talking about his days when he was the car dealer guy, Congressman Issa. It's getting ugly. Should the White House be worried here or no?
I always contend, Richard, that there was a problem for the White House in this. But as Professor Zaino just said, Republicans have to be careful because what they're doing is this president, it appears, is at his best when you make him a victim. And then he goes around the country rallying Americans to support behind him. And then he almost asks this questions. Do you care about this or do you care about American jobs? And it goes on and on and on. They've got to be careful. Let the facts lead themselves where they should be. They're going to end up, Republicans, shooting themselves in the foot, and it's going to blow up in their face.
There's a lot going on in Washington outside of the scandals, or should be going on. I contend that immigration reform, it's in the Republicans' best interest, even more than Democrats. Forget about who believes in it, just politically. More likely to pass right now. I'll give you three options. The student loans, that they work out a deal here before the rates double here for the interest rates. Immigration reform, or even the background checks, which I keep hearing more rumbling about, that people saw the math and they're going to reapproach this thing.
I think the best chance is for student loans because it's the deadline. There's an actual deadline that they have to face. This seems to be a DC that can only handle deadline negotiations before something horrible happens. After that, it's immigration reform in name only. I don't think you're going to get comprehensive immigration reform. I think you're going to get some changes to the immigration system, and they're going to call it immigration reform. But in terms of a solution that ends the debate that we've been having for decades now, I don't think we're going to get that. And background checks or other gun control legislation is the least likely because there's only one party that wants it. At least with immigration, you have both parties that want to be able to take credit for it.
It's scary. We've just hit June in the year after the election, but has Washington already proven right now they can't do two things at once. They can't investigate and legislate. They can only do one or the other.
Yeah, they maybe can't even do one at a time at this point. But no, what's interesting, I think, about the student loan issue and the immigration issue is the fact that those are both big constituencies that the Republicans should not be writing off. Republicans can win young people. They can win Hispanics. The college Republicans came out today and said, look, we're a group here. You can win. But they have to make steps.
And so I agree. The words they chose here, racist, rigid, stuff like that, as self-descriptors in terms of it. I'm with you, and I know that they're ready to strangle ICE Republicans. They got the president on backpedaling, and what did he do? He pushed too far. We're going to see how this plays out. All right, we come back a little from Washington to our region. Republican Governors Association out with a new ad against Barbara Buono. We'll break it down, and we'll talk in our strategy session next about that and some other local politics. Stay with us.